Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. A bold scheme to keep Brooke away from Ridge and Taylor's SOS to Nick Marone? According to previews on The Bold and the Beautiful, Taylor Hayes may send Nick Marone an SOS. Could Taylor's dramatic plan to keep Brooke Logan away from Ridge Forrester include Nick's impending return? Taylor gave the impression in the April 14th episode of B&B that if Brooke insisted on having a man, she would find another one. Brooke quickly responded, though, that Ridge was the only man in her life. Brooke has no intention of searching for love elsewhere because it is evident that she believes Ridge to be her soulmate. Taylor might have to play Cupid to get Brooke out of the picture. Although Taylor makes an effort to hide her feelings of insecurity and jealousy, her behavior betrays her true feelings. Taylor may phone Nick, another of Brooke's ex-boyfriends, if she becomes very concerned about a potential reconciliation between Brooke and Ridge. Taylor was once in love with Nick as well, but right now she is only interested in Ridge. Taylor may conclude that if she acts as a matchmaker and calls on unmarried Nick to attract Brooke's attention, everything will work out for everyone. Taylor might easily draw attention to Brooke's difficult situation after her breakup with Ridge. Taylor might try to persuade Nick that he should come provide consolation by adopting the poor Brooke strategy. However, Taylor might be able to entice Nick back to town with a major event or another justification. Taylor could reach out to Nick in any way she sees fit with the intention of his winning Brooke's heart again. It's never too early to start speculating about Jack Wagner's comeback storyline, as we know he will return to the role of Nick Marone on June 13th. Do you believe that Nick's return to the canvas will be supported by Taylor? According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, once Nick reappears, Brooke will receive information on some shocking news. Watch this space for the rekindled romance that follows. In The Bold and the Beautiful, the Forrester-Logan-Spector family tree has always been more of a tangled vine, but Ridge Forrester's most recent outburst over Brooke Logan rekindling her romance with Nick Marone elevates the drama to Shakespearean proportions. Ridge swoops in like a possessive tornado, demonstrating once again that he can't abide the notion of Brooke moving on, especially not with his brother, just when it appeared that Brooke could finally find happiness with Nick, her ex-husband and, yes, Ridge's own half-brother. This is a full-blown instance of emotional hypocrisy, toxic masculinity, and an absolute inability to let go. It's not just traditional soap opera envy. Let's examine why Ridge's interference with Brooke and Nick's reunion is not only theatrical, but also blatantly pathological. The history, Brooke, Ridge, and the never-ending love triangle. We must go back decades to the saga of Bridge vs. Tridge vs. Brick, yes, that is a real ship name, to see why Ridge's meddling is so frustrating. However, the worst part of Ridge and Brooke's relationship is that Ridge has never been faithful. He acts as though Brooke owes him eternal loyalty despite the fact that he has been bouncing between Brooke and Taylor for more than 30 years. In the meantime, Ridge acts as though Brooke is committing a personal transgression each time she attempts to move on, whether it be with Nick, Deacon, or Bill. Nick Marone, the factor of brotherhood. Since Nick is Ridge's half-brother and not just another ex, Ridge's meddling is all the more hypocritical. In summary, Ridge has dated, slept with, and married almost every woman in Los Angeles, including his daughter's best friend Caroline and his stepmother Taylor. However, the moment Brooke glances at Nick, all of a sudden, that is going too far. There is a clear double standard. When it comes to inappropriate relationships, Ridge has no moral superiority, but he acts as though Brooke's decision to choose Nick is an irreparable betrayal. Why? Because Ridge is more concerned with control than he is with family limits. Ridge's true issue is that he can't tolerate Brooke being content without him. This isn't a love issue, it's an ego issue. Ridge has a recurring history of dumping Brooke. She begins to recover and find contentment in other places. He destroys her new relationship out of panic. We've seen that with Thorne, who was bullied out of Brooke's life by Ridge. She was chastised by Ridge for abandoning their family by Bill. At this point, Nick, Ridge, is using every deceptive tactic possible to sabotage their reconciliation. If I can't have her, no one can, especially not his own brother, is evident in Ridge's actions. In the most recent sabotage, Ridge ruined Brooke and Nick's reunion. According to recent spoilers, Ridge confronted Nick violently and accused him of stealing Brooke. Played the victim, appearing as though he was the one who left, and gaslight Brooke by implying that she was confused and making a mistake. This emotional manipulation is textbook. Ridge takes use of Brooke's past self-doubt in order to maintain control over her. The greater problem, Ridge's toxic need to own Brooke. This is fundamentally a possession issue rather than a love one. Ridge has dominated Brooke's value for years, labeling her weak when she drinks and selfish when she moves on. Establishing unachievable expectations, he can do as he pleases, she must be flawless. Resenting her independence, he snaps the moment she's content without him. Simply put, this is emotional maltreatment. What comes next? Is Brooke going to break free at last? Potential results: Brooke pushes Nick away and gives in to Ridge's guilt-tripping, again. Ridge must face his duplicity as Nick refuses to back down. Taylor takes advantage of the situation by intervening to comfort Ridge. The ideal situation? Ridge is told to permanently get lost by Brooke. Final thought: Ridge isn't a hero, he's a hypocrite. Ridge Forrester has portrayed the tortured romantic lead for decades, but his decision to ruin Brooke's happiness with Nick reveals that he is nothing more than a manipulative, self-centered ex-boyfriend who can't let go. This toxic cycle will continue until Brooke quits allowing him to control her life. The bottom line? Ridge enjoys dominating Brooke more than he does loving her. And she won't be free until she realizes that. Dramatic love triangles, betrayals, and psychological twists have been staples of The Bold and the Beautiful, but few characters have gone as dark as Dr. Taylor Hayes. According to recent teasers, Taylor, who was once regarded as the Forrester family's calming influence and sympathetic therapist, has resorted to unhinged, stalker-like behavior, especially in her fixation with Brooke Logan and her will to get back together with Ridge Forrester. This unsettling change in Taylor's personality begs the issues of mental instability, unhealthy obsession, and whether she has gone too far from being a loyal ex-wife to becoming a full-fledged stalker. Taylor's decline: from therapist to obsessive stalker. It took Taylor some time to turn into an unhinged stalker. She was presented for years as Ridge's devoted ex-wife, ever hoping for a new opportunity at love. Recent plots, however, have taken a darker turn, with Taylor covertly plotting to split Brooke and Ridge up. Manipulating circumstances to give the impression that Brooke is unstable. Showing up at important times without being invited. Refusing to acknowledge Ridge's decisions. These actions are consistent with traditional stalker tendencies, especially the rejected stalker subtype, which is characterized by an individual who becomes progressively anxious to reclaim control once a relationship ends. Analysis of psychology: is Taylor a stalker? We must look at the essential characteristics of stalking conduct, such as fixation on the victim, in order to decide whether Taylor meets the criteria to be considered a stalker. Because they think they are meant to be together, stalkers frequently have an intense focus on their target. Despite Ridge's repeated decisions to choose Brooke, Taylor keeps getting involved in his life. Unwillingness to accept rejection. Taylor rewrites reality in her mind, believing that Ridge genuinely loves her, even when he expresses his feelings. Obsessive stalkers are known for their deluded persistence. Deceptive methods. Taylor has exploited Brooke's previous relapses, used Steffi to place Ridge under guilt, and even told lies to sway Ridge's judgment. To isolate their target, stalkers may enlist allies or disparage their opponents. Violations of boundaries. Taylor interrupts private talks, comes up at the Forrester estate without warning, and disregards Ridge's independence. In the real world, stalkers frequently progress from unsolicited calls or texts to physical assaults. Unstable emotions. Her unpredictable mood swings point to narcissistic injury and unresolved trauma. Although BNB presents this as romantic persistence, Taylor's activities would actually be considered stalking from a legal and psychological standpoint. How far will Taylor go, according to spoilers? According to recent teasers, Taylor may undermine Brooke's recovery by encouraging her to relapse in order to make her appear unfit for Ridge. This suggests that her conduct may deteriorate before improving. When Steffi realizes her mother's machinations are poisonous, she might turn against her. Ridge might eventually cut her off entirely, which could result in a dangerous breakdown. Will Taylor stalk Brooke more menacingly if she loses Ridge permanently? Turn into a violent person? To get Ridge's attention again, stage a crisis? Taylor might develop into a full-fledged villain given B&B's track record of psychological thrillers, such as Sheila Carter's Reign of Terror. Comparisons to other notable soap opera stalkers. Taylor's actions are similar to those of Sheila Carter, a psychotic stalker who abducted, coerced, and even killed her victims in order to maintain control over them. Annie Dutton, who believed her ex still loved her, went from being a sweetheart to a deluded stalker. Nola Chamberlain displayed erotomania by pretending to be pregnant in order to trick a man. In contrast, Sheila Taylor's decline is tragic. Her decline into obsession is all the more disturbing because she was previously a well-respected expert. Fan reactions: is Taylor's conduct toxic or romantic? Regarding Taylor's activities, the B&B fans is split. Team Taylor contends that Brooke stole Ridge unfairly and that she is battling for true love. According to Team Brooke, Taylor is going too far and requires psychiatric support. Discussions concerning the point at which perseverance turns into harassment are reflected in this debate. What comes next? Will Taylor get assistance or get worse? Potential paths for Taylor's future: redemption arc. She acknowledges her infatuation, goes to treatment, and takes a step back. Complete villain turn: using ever more extreme tactics to win Ridge, she becomes the next Sheila. Sad conclusion: as a result of her stalker, she has a breakdown and may perhaps commit suicide or end up in an institution. The most explosive path looks plausible since B&B enjoys high-stakes drama. In conclusion, is Taylor Hayes a stalker dressed as a lover? The Bold and the Beautiful frequently romanticizes extravagant displays of affection, but Taylor's latest behavior verges on pathological obsession. Her defiance of boundaries, deceptive tactics, and refusal to accept rejection are all consistent with actual stalking behaviors. Taylor might turn into one of the most tragic stalkers on daytime TV if the show keeps going in this direction. Will her obsession ruin her and everyone around her, or will she wake up and get help? Time will tell, but one thing is certain: Taylor Hayes is a woman on the brink and no longer the voice of reason. Nick Marone's stunning declaration that he is coming to Los Angeles has set the Bold and the Beautiful rumor mill in motion, and his return is expected to cause a ruckus in the already unstable lives of Taylor Hayes and Brooke Logan. Nick's return is allegedly connected to a significant betrayal that might upend Brooke's precarious peace and reveal Taylor's darkest secrets, so this isn't just a casual comeback. Nick's entrance threatens to completely alter the dynamic, rekindling old passions, revealing long-buried lies, and potentially paving the way for the most combustible love triangle B&B has witnessed in years, while Ridge Forrester continues to play emotional ping-pong between the two ladies. Why is Nick Marone coming back? Even though Jack Wagner's character Nick Marone was last seen in Los Angeles more than 10 years ago, his influence never really diminished. Since Nick is Ridge's half-brother and Brooke's ex-husband, his presence has consistently set off Ridge's most intense fears. His abrupt homecoming raises the possibility of impending drama, and it will be personal. Brooke's recent issue could be the reason for Nick's return. Since Brooke is once more torn between Ridge and Taylor, Nick could be her savior and provide the unwavering love Ridge was never able to provide. A shocking secret: is Nick aware of something terrible about Taylor that he has been keeping hidden for years? Business warfare: Nick, a former heir to the Marone family, may return to retake his ownership of Forrester Creations, which would put him at odds with Ridge. The Brooke-Nick-Taylor dynamic: a history of betrayal. Ridge's meddling made Nick and Brooke's relationship tense despite their constant desire. The Taylor aspect, however, is what makes this comeback even more intriguing. Few people recall that Taylor and Nick had an affair as part of a scheme to exact revenge on Brooke. Taylor's immaculate reputation might be destroyed and her duplicity shown if this secret comes to light again. Brooke's enduring affections: despite her tussles with Ridge, Brooke has always harbored affection for Nick, the guy who showed her unconditional devotion. Ridge's unavoidable breakdown: the thought of Brooke getting back in touch with Nick makes Ridge feel possessive, and if Taylor's betrayal is revealed, his whole world may collapse. Spoiler alert: the betrayal that changes everything. According to rumors, Nick's return is connected to a long-kept secret about Taylor that might reveal her most sinister deceit. Potential outcomes: Taylor's affair with Nick revealed. Taylor's perfect woman persona will fall apart if Brooke, or worse, Ridge, learns that she had an affair with Nick. Nick exposes Taylor's deceptions. Did Taylor plan Bridge's previous splits? Nick may be aware of the reality. A new love triangle is created. Ridge's jealousy may force Brooke into Nick's arms if she turns to him for solace. Ridge's demise: will he ultimately lose Brooke? Nick's reappearance might be the last straw for Ridge, who has spent years pitting Brooke and Taylor against one another. Bridge might end permanently if Brooke comes to the realization that Nick has always been the one who genuinely loved her. Taylor isn't the saint she acts like, and Ridge never really respected her. What comes next? Taylor's demise is predicted by the explosive fallout. If her history with Nick is revealed, her credibility would be ruined, and even Steffi may turn against her. Brooke's empowerment: Brooke may finally decide to put herself before Ridge's manipulation. Ridge's despair: will his own brother take Brooke away from him? He might never get over that humiliation. Conclusion: Nick's return is the endgame. Nick Marone's return is a planned storm that will permanently destroy the Bridge-Tridge cycle, not merely a nostalgic excursion. One thing is certain: the Logan Forrester-Marone battle is about to reach its climax, whether that is accomplished by exposing Taylor's lies, rekindling Brooke's love, or shattering Ridge's ego. Will Brooke be able to escape at last? Will Taylor be buried by her secrets? And will Ridge ever realize that if you never loved someone properly in the first place, you can never lose them? It's going to get messy in B&B, so pay attention. The bold and the beautiful veteran Jack Wagner, who has played the ebullient Nick Marone intermittently since 2003, recently shocked the daytime drama community by denying a major plot point that would have considerably aging his character. Intriguing questions concerning creative control, ageism in soap operas, and how long-running series strike a balance between character development and actor comfort are brought up by this behind-the-scenes conflict between actors and writers. Our in-depth, 1,500-word analysis explores the implications of this rejected plotline for Nick's future, how it mirrors larger developments in the business, and why this specific creative standoff is more significant than ordinary soap opera drama. The rejected storyline: what we know, although specifics are still under wraps. Reliable industry insiders affirm Wagner objected to a storyline that would have diminished Nick's potential as a love interest with key characters like Brooke, made Nick a grandfather through daughter Bridget's off-screen children, positioned him as an elder statesman rather than romantic lead. This reflects tensions in real-life Hollywood, where actors often reject roles that age them out of desirable parts. Wagner's rejection is a powerful example of how soap operas struggle to balance character development with preserving beloved relationships. Why this matters: the delicate art of aging soap characters in contrast to primetime TV, where characters evolve naturally. Daytime dramas face unique challenges. Balancing realism with maintaining bankable pairings is necessary for decades-long storytelling. Lead actors often play roles for over 30 years while barely aging on-screen. Nick's case is particularly difficult because, heavy checkmark, his last major arc left him youthful and relevant. Heavy checkmark, his return now risks making him a legacy character. Heavy checkmark, the Brooke/Nick chemistry is still a fan favorite. Industry context: when actors push back, Wagner isn't the only soap operas that resist aging narratives. Eric Braeden famously rejected stories that implied weakness. Erica Slezak negotiated around grandmother tropes, and Susan Lucci maintained romantic lead status into her 60s. This reflects a larger soap opera paradox. Audiences want realism but rebel when beloved characters act their age. What will happen to Nick next? Potential future directions. Now that the aging plot has been put on hold, Wagner's comeback could go in a number of ways. His position might encourage other veterans to bargain for comparable conditions, which could alter how soap operas handle character development over the long run. In summary, this controversy highlights the growing pains of daytime television as it balances the following issues: actor longevity versus character realism, fan service versus creative progression, tradition versus evolution. It is unclear whether Wagner's decision limits Nick's potential or maintains his appeal, but one thing is certain: in the soap opera world, striving to stay forever young isn't just vanity, it's survival. Final thought. As soap operas negotiate an increasingly youth-obsessed entertainment world, Wagner's stance poses fascinating issues about whether male performers now suffer comparable pressures in an industry where female stars have long fought ageism. Daphne vs. Brooke, new mortal enemies? Daphne better watch her back. Daphne Rose is the target of Brooke Logan, who is aware that Daphne has her sights set on Carter Walton. Brooke wants to see Carter and Hope Logan get back together because she supports Hope Logan's relationship, or past relationship, with Carter. She is also aware that Hope left Carter in part because of Daphne. Daphne realized she had to move quickly after overhearing Carter tell Brooke that he is committed to getting Hope back. She does just that on Tuesday when she begs Carter to put Hope out of his mind and give them another shot. Unfortunately, Brooke hears everything and has to voice her opinion. She is upset with Daphne for interfering with Hope's romance and pursuing Carter. Additionally, she has had enough of Daphne's chatter about Hope. Brooke will not tolerate her derogatory remarks about her kid. After what she did, though, she might want to get used to hearing negative remarks about Hope from some at Forrester Creations. Hope will be the subject of much discussion, and Brooke is unable to defend her to everyone. Will breaks free because Luna Nozawa is unrelenting. She stripped down in lingerie in front of Will Spencer even though he did not invite her to do so or want her to. Will was particularly worried that Electra Forrester would discover him with Luna. Even if Luna has a tempting offer for him, Electra has his heart. Is it too late when Will finally gets rid of Luna? Are they caught together by Electra? All Luna could do was shrug, but she had already placed her on notice. She is determined to get Will for herself and is not going to allow Electra to win. Electra might discover that she is outmatched with Sheila Carter's assistance. Electra is unaware that Luna is also acquainted with Remy Price. Just after Ridge selects Taylor, Nick Marone reappears to upend Brooke's life. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Jack Wagner will play Nick Marone again on June 13th. Will Nick's unexpected arrival rekindle old feelings and add to the drama in the never-ending love triangle, as Brooke is devastated by Ridge's decision to choose Taylor? Breaking news for fans of The Bold and the Beautiful, Nick Marone is back to shake things up. Jack Wagner's confirmed comeback as the ebullient shipping billionaire Nick Marone has the soap opera world in a frenzy. Viewers may mark June 13th as the day of his first appearance on their calendars, since filming has already begun as of April 10th. His timing couldn't be more ideal. Brooke's broken heart leads to a blast from the past. Brooke Logan's relationship with Ridge Forrester is in ruins, leaving her at a difficult crossroads. Brooke must pick up the shards of her broken heart as Ridge once again selected Taylor Hayes. However, a familiar face returns to Los Angeles Harbor just when it looks like there is no hope left. Deadline claims that Nick Marone's surprise comeback will rekindle long-suppressed emotions and provide Brooke with the solace and security she much needs at this trying time. Nick's visit triggers a flood of memories after she has experienced heartbreak and the agonizing awareness that her relationship with Ridge may be irrevocably damaged. His magnetic personality might be just what Brooke needs to overcome the baggage of her turbulent relationship with Ridge. An intricate past spanning decades, Nick will be remembered by longtime admirers as the son of Massimo Marone, who arrived in town in 2003. Nick, who is currently in charge of Marone Industries, soon found himself enmeshed in some of the most dramatic plotlines on the show, including one that involving both Brooke and Taylor. Nick has a long history with these two women. He became just another male with whom they have a falling out over the years. In one of the soap opera's most startling turns, Taylor carried Jack Marone, Nick and Brooke's kid, through a donor egg scenario that permanently altered everyone's life. Given that Taylor and Ridge appear to be back together, it's unlikely that Nick's reappearance won't rekindle past animosities. Everyone is wondering if these three characters will cause history to repeat itself. After 9 years of drama, passion, and intrigue, Jack Wagner first left the role in 2012, and Nick's return raises speculation. He made a brief comeback in March 2022 to celebrate the soap opera's historic 35th anniversary, but this current engagement looks to be more significant. Nick's return will undoubtedly upend the Logan Forrester Hayes triangle that has dominated the show for decades, even though specifics of his upcoming plot are yet unknown. Will Brooke be tempted to return to Nick? Will his presence make Taylor feel threatened? And how will Ridge respond if he sees Brooke's previous flame again? Fans are suggesting that Nick could be the key to ending the never-ending cycle between Ridge, Brooke, and Taylor because of the timing of this casting announcement. Is this the new beginning Brooke has been longing for?